hadn't seen my family in a couple of years. Because of hormones, I had developed into a full V. My hair had grown long, and the skin on my face had gotten lighter. The dark shadow that resulted from having hair there was now gone because of electrolysis. After making excuses and not attending the last 2 Thanksgivings, I couldn't skip this one. I had to make an appearance, but I hadn't shared with my family that I had started my medical transition. Only weeks before my first scheduled surgery, I think that Thanksgiving was the time and place to come out to them about things. My mother didn't care what clothes I wore, but she did make her feelings known about changing gender permanently. Anytime I brought it up in the past, she just always asked, "What will become of you?" "What's to become of you?" was her favorite question. It was an easy way to transfer all her fears of her own onto me. She understood that if she could increase my feelings of doubt, I might change my mind. That played a big part in me deciding to my transition to myself. Honestly, I didn't want to hear other people's opinions about me. I also didn't want to explain. I knew that people would have questions that I didn't have answers to. I couldn't tell you why this or why that. I just knew that I had to. Not going all the way wasn't an option. What could I wait at Thanksgiving that would hide my freshly grown little boobs? Pulled my hair into a bun and wore a huge sweatshirt under very large dickies. I looked huge, like I had gained 50 pounds, and I hoped that that was enough to distract from the physical changes. When I arrived at my parents' house, I stood in front of the front door, took a deep breath before I opened it. I could smell all the delicious food that my mother was preparing. Nervously, I walked into the kitchen to say hello to my mother. She smiled, and I smiled back at her, and she hugged me. And while she was hugging me, I kept thinking, oh dear God, don't let her notice, don't let her notice. Then she let go of me, and she looked at me and said, "You're fat." Relieved, now it was time to go greet my father. I walked into the living room, sat across from my father on the couch, smiled, and said, "Hi, Papa." He looked at me for what felt like a very long time, and without saying a word, he just grunted and looked away. He was never very nice to me. As more and more family arrived, the general consensus to be that I had gotten fat. Family gatherings can be very difficult for trans people. I felt that nobody there knew me. I didn't feel close to them at all. After dinner, and hours of being dead-named and misgendered, my anxiety was through the roof. I felt that my father still hadn't said a word to me, but I kept catching him staring at me the whole entire time through dinner. Fighting back tears, I said I wasn't feeling well and that I had to leave. I explained that I had been battling a bug all week and I just go home and rest. I was apologizing to everybody while I was saying my goodbyes. Now, with my coat on and just about to leave, my father walked by me and turned his head so he would be facing me. In a very quiet voice, he said to me, "You look different." He said to me, "Be a man or be a woman, but don't be both. And if you're going to be a woman, you better look good in a bikini." Now it was me, said nothing, and was staring. Speechless, I pulled open the door and left. On a cab ride home, I kept thinking, how is it possible that my father was the only one who noticed anything? Are they blind, I wondered? I thought, they have known me my whole life. Where did they think my beard disappeared to? It was in that cab ride that I decided that next Thanksgiving there would be no more hiding.